Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more slug testing, and today we've definitely got a very interesting shell to test out. It's one that one of you guys sent in to us as well, so I'm definitely excited to see how it can perform, because there is the potential that this is a pretty decent combo, or this could be a total failure as well. We've seen kind of these import style shells go either way. Some are good, some are absolutely terrible. But as for the shell we're going to run today, big thank you to Adam from Texas for sending some of these in. He sent a bunch of stuff in, so we're going to be working through getting all of them tested, because there's definitely some interesting stuff in there. But for the load we've got today, I brought out some of these. The Cheddite rifled deer slugs. I've heard this name pronounced multiple different ways. Cheddite, Cheddite, Cheddite. So however you want to pronounce it, I guess that's up to you. But they're a 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inch, 1 ounce slug at 1650 feet per second. You can see the picture of it right there on the box. Kind of reminiscent of a Brennicky style slug. We know those projectiles can do well, but this is an import shell, so we really don't know what we're going to get until we try it. But here's what one of those shells looks like. You can see that slug down in there, and they actually painted it gold, so if it's gold, it's got to do well, right? I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. Either way, should be a very interesting slug load for us to test, that's for sure. But as for the setup we're going to run them through, I brought out my Remington 870. This one's got a 24-inch Carlson's barrel on it, but it's a standard smoothbore, no special overbore or anything like that. For the choke, we've got a stock flush style improved cylinder in here. That's what a lot of slugs recommend, so that's what we're going to start with. Up on top is a Hawk Vantage IR 3-9x40 with their muzzleloader slug gun straight wall reticle in it. A lot of eye relief on this scope, and I definitely really have been enjoying it so far. As for how this is set up, yes, we do have a rail mounted to the top of the receiver, but our barrel is not pinned, and all of our barrel tension is based on our magazine cap. I do have witness marks on here. It's tightened to hand tight, plus 3 extra clicks with a pair of soft jaw pliers. It's been a very reliable combo so far. This barrel nut has not come loose in any of our testing, so at least we know we have even tension on the barrel, so we'll see what this combo can actually give us. But as for our test today, we're going to run it the same as we usually do with these slug tests. I've got a target at 50 and another target at 100. We're going to shoot 2 groups, 3 shots each, one at 50 and another at 100. Might not be a perfect test, but it's at least going to tell us if these are any kind of decent or not, and we'll get an idea of where we're at just through an improved cylinder choke. And of course, all of our shots will be through the chronograph as well, so we can be getting our velocities. So enough talking, let's get you guys set up with a view of that target and take our groups here and see how good these Cheddite slugs might actually be. Alright, so let's take a quick peek through our chronograph numbers here real quick before we look at our target. The boss claim is 1650, however we did not see that claim. We do only have a 24-inch barrel, so there's a good chance the factory tested it through a 28 or sometimes even a 30, but we're kind of in the danger zone, and we'll talk more about it here in a second when we go look at our target with my subsonic barrier theory. But for a high, we had 1511. For a low, we had 1487. That gave us an average at 1499. With an extreme spread of 24 and a standard deviation of 7. So at least they were somewhat consistent when it comes to velocity. But 1499, that's 151 feet per second under their boss claim. But here are your energy numbers for a 1 ounce slug at 1499, so you can see what we're actually pushing. Still good enough for a deer hunt, but let's swivel around here and take a look at our target, because we definitely got some pretty interesting results over there. All right, so now let's take a look at our target because things got a little confusing here. Now, yes, the target is kind of flipped upside down because the first shot out at 100, I nailed this corner piece right here that actually holds the target backing up. That's the first time I've done that in a year of having this target stand. I'm honestly surprised it took us that long with some of the terrible slugs we've tested, but I was not expecting to hit that, so I had to flip the target upside down. Either way, we'll start with our 50-yard group, which was this bullet hole right here and this big bullet hole. It's actually two pretty well in the exact same hole. Ignore this one over here on the left. Those two in the same hole, and that one is our 50-yard group. Not too bad for 50 yards. I mean, if we could have had that one little bit of a flyer up there with the other two, that would have been nice. It gave us about a 2.11 inch spread. So on one hand, numbers wise, it's not the greatest for 50 yards, but still, that's not bad, especially for an import slug, because we've seen some very weird results with those before. However, when we move out to 100, that's where things got really strange. Again, our first shot hit way over here to the right, and yes, this target was over here on the right. The whole paper's upside down, so we were hitting way off to the right. We nailed that, so I had to go down and flip our target paper because we destroyed this whole top corner up here that was over there. So then I decided to aim at this red dot right over here on the left. Since I figured we were shooting right, we could group them somewhere in this actual center of the target. And we hit one bullet hole right here, that left bullet hole. Then we hit that guy way up here at the top of the paper, and this guy way over here off the left. So clearly this is an obvious flyer if we had these two right here on the right target. We were grouping to the right, so I guess that would technically make sense if we were aiming over here. Those two bullet holes gave us 4.49 inches. But we would have probably about an 18-inch spread if we measured from that guy all the way over here to the left. I have a theory on why that slug moved all the way over to the left when we were already grouping to the right as it is, because that one I would imagine should be over here with these. If we got a 2 and change inch group at 50, you would imagine 4 to 5 or so out at 100. That's what we were on track to have with those two bullet holes until we threw that one flyer way over yonder. So things got very interesting, a little bit inconsistent, kind of all over the place. They're okay to 50 yards, and at least through this combo, I would be okay with them out to 50 if I was going to deer hunt with them, but I'm not really liking the consistency and kind of how they're flying all over the place out at 100. Like I mentioned a second ago, my theory is that some of these slugs, when they jump over that transonic barrier and go from super to subsonic, that they kind of get a little squirrely and things start to happen with them. I don't have a good way of proving that without a slow-mo camera, but it's a possibility, I suppose. But let's swing around here and take a look at what I found on the range as to why I think this bullet hole went all the way over here to the left when we were grouping to the right. And looky here what I found down there on the range. It's a little tail skirt piece that would have been pressed into the back of one of those slugs. I didn't think these had this, and it's not exactly like a Brennecke style tail wad either. It's kind of its own thing, but I only found one of these, which leads me to believe that this probably came detached at 60 to 70 yards. I found it right about 80 yards or so laying down there on the range. It probably came out of the back of that slug that hit way off to the left. All of our other shots at 100 were grouped to the right except for that one, which would make sense here. If we had one that the tail wad came out of, it could have done a little bit of squirrely stuff down there, got a little unstable or something. It's a possibility, and since I only found this one, that's probably what makes the most sense, and it very well could have come out of there right as the slug kind of transitioned to subsonic as well, if it got some kind of weird air vortex behind it or something that could have sucked this out of the back. So definitely pretty interesting to see this one in particular tail wad, and it definitely can explain some of our strange results at 100. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about those results right there? Definitely some pretty interesting results. We were looking okay at 50 yards. 2 inches isn't anything to be super proud of at that distance, but at least we had two pretty well in the same hole. So if we had about 2 inches at 50, I figured we'd go to 4 inches at 100, and I think that's what we were on track to see. We had a little bit over 4 inches with our two bullet holes, and then we threw that one big flyer off to the left. All of that after I already went and smacked that target. So I gotta give it up to Caldwell. They made a pretty tough target stand. Getting hit with a 1-ounce slug and it didn't break at all is pretty impressive. So I'll have to bend that back straight and maybe get a new target backing. But either way, I guess you can call these kind of average for what they are. They're a cheaper import slug, and we know how those can get very finicky sometimes. We've had a few that are decent and a few that are absolutely atrocious. I wouldn't call these the worst we've seen by a long shot, but they're probably more so just more range ammo than anything else. Sure, you could hunt with them out to 50, maybe 60 yards and be okay, but I don't know that I would personally trust them much farther than that, at least through this combination. And for the people curious, I did check. All of our scope is perfectly fine. The rail is perfectly fine. The magazine cap is still exactly where it should be. The choke is tight, all of that. So nothing on the shotgun has moved or changed. So it is most definitely what these slugs are actually doing out there towards 100 yards. But leave all your thoughts down below. Is that about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested any of these Cheddite slugs? And if so, what kind of results have you seen from them? Is this a combo you would actually hunt with? Or are you kind of like me? It's probably just going to be range ammo, or maybe out to 50 yards or something like that if you really wanted to. And what other slugs or combo setups might you want to see us run with either these Cheddite slugs or just 12 gauge in general? If there's another loading you want to see us test, let me know all that down below. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All that information will be in the description if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.